Oh, welcome back, gamers and geeks. My name is Kuma, and today we're going to be covering day 3 of E3. It was a little light today, but before we get too far into that, let's welcome today's two guests. One of our favorite guests, as always, Falco from Zombie Corps. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. It's hot as fuck. I hate Arizona.
I am tired, and you know what? Like a little part of me is actually kind of happy that we had like a little bit of a low, like a low day, because tomorrow is gonna be insane with both Nintendo, Bandai Namco, and just like the end of E3, and of course we have the awards, but we'll be doing our own episode later about the awards. So
That is true.
I'm happy with like the light load that we had today.
Yeah, seriously.
Especially
also,
after yesterday's insanity.
Also being chatty as always is Tyler. He's here.
Howdy doody. Yeah.
Alrighty, so did everyone here either get a chance to dig through that deep pile of drop that we got today? Because man, are we really have to break out the snow shovel for today, man?
Yeah, we're swimming in news. I mean, I watched everything live in our Discord. You know, we were all kind of, as we were all working and doing our day jobs, we were all watching it. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it was light. Not a lot of stuff. I don't have a lot of opinions on a lot of the stuff. You know, Capcom's not really one of my, I don't play any Capcom games actually. And the Indie Showcase, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, the Take-Two thing and the Razer were interesting, to say the
Falco,
least.
what about you?
I'm so disappointed with Capcom. I play Capcom things, and I was with somebody who was also pretty decent on, like, you know, like Monster Hunter and stuff, and they were also just as disappointed with what happened on that.
Yep.
I'm glad you're a Capcom guy, because I know me and Tyler are really not. So it's good to have someone with that perspective.
Yeah,
I like the Ace Attorney series, and I think that might be it in all honesty, because I don't play Monster Hunter. I don't play Resident Evil. I don't play Street Fighter. I am a Mortal Kombat Smash guy, so.
What's wrong with you?
Womp. Just what I grew up on. I grew up on Blood and Kirby.
So getting into the day, let's start at least with like the real meat of today, which I think was Capcom. Right off the bat, I think the easiest one, this one was kind of a gimme. We got announcements for RE8 Village DLC upcoming. I don't think anybody's shocked. They just dropped the game. It's been out for a few weeks.
No, I was more shocked the fact that it was literally, 5 seconds of the regular trailer of the regular game, and then one just slide of it saying that there was.
Yeah. And like even though Capcom was definitely the meat of today, it was still a pretty lean meat.
Yeah.
It was boring.
Like,
it's disappointing too, because 7 had some great DLC, and I realized 8's still new, but come on.
Like,
I gotta give the host credit. She was trying to be as hype as possible, so I do have to give her credit. She was trying hard.
She was trying to do as best possible with what she had, and it was,
I think she did fine.
No, I think she did perfect.
They gave her. For what they gave her.
Yeah, for what they gave her, I think she did a fine job. But yeah,
Well, and then we also got RE-Verse gameplay, and RE-Verse is the multiplayer Resident Evil game, which, if you watch the trailer, is a combination of the heroes running around trying to complete objectives, meanwhile villains being summoned in by other players from other RE games. So you had the father from RE7, you had it was Mr. X, right?
It's the dad, it's Nemesis, the blob things from 7 as well, and then there's also Hunters. I actually played it because I got a beta. Ooh. I had a beta.
So how is it? How does it play?
I'm kidding.
It's like, if you really want to know, it's like deathmatch Call of Duty with just third person, and when you die, you don't die. You turn into the enemy. You turn into the nemesis, and then you still keep going until you get killed as the nemesis. It's just another deathmatch game where there's an extra layer at the end where instead of immediately dying, you turn into a zombie guy.
The next thing from Capcom was the trailer for Monster Hunter Stories, which if you saw the Summer Games Fest, they already showed there.
I think it's like the fifth trailer for it. Like, Jesus Christ.
For Mage Stories 2.
So it's a long.
Not a bad
marketing.
trailer. It's Monster Hunters, but like cute looking animation, I guess.
I mean, it looks like a worse Breath of the Wild, but yeah, that's fine, I guess. I mean, the Switch can only handle so much, so.
I'm not a huge Monster Hunter fan. My girlfriend got me into Monster Hunter World to play with friends on the PlayStation. It's fun. It's not my bag of tea. I pretty much play because they play.
The stories.
I was gonna say the mechanics for me. I don't like the mechanics.
Stories are different than the regular ones. They're not. I mean, they still have a lot of same stuff to them, but like World and
a little more like
Rise
traditional RPG.
They're a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit, and it's a little more story like heavy. When you do World and stuff, there's cutscenes and all that stuff, but a lot is more emphasized on the actual like running of the hunt and going through that, and, the gameplay.
Absolutely.
But the stories are stories is more 50-50. Looking at that and seeing that again for another trailer, it's like, I mean, it was nice that they showed some new stuff for Rise too. And it was very interesting that your owl can
we finally got more information on Rise, which is kind of cool as well. I know I have a lot of friends who are very happy to get more information on Rise.
Right, and it was very interesting to see that you can now you're going to be able to turn the owl into a penguin. I don't know how that flightless bird flies, but especially a baby one. But
that's like a Square Enix thing. It seems like.
It was interesting to see. I think that was sadly the high point of the
it's all downhill
of the Capcom.
I mean, they had one good other thing. I know, Tyler, you're a fan of the Ace Attorney series, so we got the Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is a collection of like the adventure drama games.
Yeah, it looks cool. We have Herlock Sholmes. I
wonder who he's inspired by, or she.
I thought Sherlock Holmes was like free use. I don't know. I mean, is it free use? I don't know. Let me check.
I thought he was. It's been long enough.
It's been so long.
I'm sure that I'm sure that it is, but I'm sure that they just didn't want to be just like, we'll just take Sherlock Holmes. No, we'll parody him with some sort of name or something, just because it's funny.
So not all of Arthur Conan Doyle's stories are in the public domain. 10 of them were published in the 1920s, and while some of those have been entering the public domain, others remain copywritten until January 1st, 2023.
Oh, wow. But yeah. Anyway, it's kind of funny that it is like Herlock Sholmes. It just sounds stupid, but that's fine. I'm more excited for like the anniversary one, like where they're actually bringing over the first 3 for the first time to America. So like I'm more excited for that release. I've actually already pre-ordered it on Amazon. So the new one, it's fine, but I'm more interested in playing like the original, in all honesty. So maybe if it came out before, the remaster and the release of the original trilogy, like maybe garnered a little bit more attention or care, but I'd rather play something I've never played before, like an original thing, and then or the original of a series that I like and I appreciate more than just to see a weird new sequel. But I do like the fact that Ace Attorney will cross-contaminate with other things like Professor Layton or I'm forgetting other stuff. But yeah,
because I don't really play those ones as much. I see a lot of people like them, which is good. Because I'm still happy that people like him. I will say though that the presentation seemed to be, I felt like the end of it dragged on that part, because they showed it and it was kind of cool, and then they showed them go through like a whole part like end investigation thing. We just sat there where there was like, it's just like the game, so you're just sitting there reading it the whole time, and there wasn't anything saying. It's like I get when you like play it because you're like sitting down and like and then that and in it, but like sitting for a presentation, it's like, why am I Why am I doing this?
Watching
here?
Ace Attorney is one of those things where it's like watching a streamer who's playing something you really don't like, but you're there for the streamer.
Which is fine, but the streamer would probably talk the whole time, and they didn't say anything. So it was you just sat there and read.
Riveting gameplay.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, but
absolutely.
I'm glad some people are into that, which is cool.
Yeah.
I have one opinion on the Street Fighter thing, and that is why didn't we watch actual Street Fighter instead of just hanging out with all these esports guys.
All the esports things are so weird. It's like, nobody's doing this yet. Like, could you calm down a little bit? Just like a little bit, like show gameplay after this year. Like, stop showing crowds that we can't really do right yet.
I think it was literally like she pulls up and she's like, we went through all that, and now people are asking about esports. I'm like, no one is.
No one's asking for esports.
What? And then
esports fans aren't asking for esports. Before we get to the real kind of question mark of the day, there were some indie games that they talked about too. Tyler, you brought up several of them.
Yeah, there's two that struck me because we talked about this. I actually want to talk about this on an episode as well. And I talked about it yesterday's episode where I did my reaction to all of day 2, which was insane, especially compared to today. I'm so sick and tired of so many side scrollers. Like, I understand that there is a market for it, but man, when there's so many of them and you're oversaturating it, it's not special anymore. And like watching this, it was like out of 7 games. 5 of them were side scrollers, and the other 2 were 2D as well. And you're like, or one of them was 2D, and the other one was not really. But like one of them that I'm actually interested in, and it is a side scroller, I must digress, is the Bio Interstellar Arc or Bark by TikTok Games. It seems cute, and I actually really like the trailer. I really dug it. And the other one,
go ahead. Sorry.
No, and the other one was Neko Ghost Jump, which was it's just Super Paper Mario. That's all it was, like the Wii game. But the thing is that Super Paper Mario still looks really good today. That footage looks really bad. Like, there's a lot of pixelation. It looks unrendered. That was a really terrible trailer. Like, I understand it's indie, but the other ones looked fine and polished and well rendered. This one looked like it was in beta or maybe even alpha. If you look at all the curves,
it is probably early.
It might be fairly early, but yeah,
maybe. But it's also an indie game, so it's like if they're doing indie game, that means that they had funding. They probably have a release date. And it's probably close because, again, it's an indie game. They want it out as soon as possible.
So to be fair to what's that fucking game called? You just said it. Neko Ghost Jump.
It's already out.
Really?
Oh,
okay.
Wait. Oh, the demo. Sorry, the demo's out.
I was just saying, to be fair to Neko Ghost Jump, it doesn't look that, if we're going to be honest, it doesn't look that much worse than Fall Guys, and Fall Guys is fine.
No, Fall Guys is rendered as hell. Those are smooth edges and everything, and the detail and the cell shading. Everything. Fall Guys is a gorgeous looking game, and it's great, and it uses its colors really well. This one, I'm watching the trailer on Steam. It looks grainy. Everything looks either like flat and all the edges aren't even. This looks like an N64 game. Okay, this looks like an early GameCube game. I'll correct myself. It doesn't look like an N64 game, but it does look to me, it looks like a GameCube game, an early GameCube game.
See, my bigger critique was for Bio Interstellar Arc, because we were talking, but before we started recording, which is always when the best conversations happen, unfortunately, we were talking about how Bio Interstellar Arc being a side-scroller shmup, so obviously with the 2D limitations of video game consoles in the 80s and the early 90s, 2D side scrollers were kind of the name of the game. It wasn't until we got the N64 where we started seeing what 3D could do. I feel the N64 and the PlayStation, And then probably about the late...
it also kind of started with just the Super Nintendo with Star Fox and
true. That is
Super
true.
Mario RPG as well.
I forgot about that. But but even then it was on rails.
Yeah, of course.
But which you could argue is a 3D side scroller. But
yeah, no, absolutely, 1000%. But the presentation of it, though. But
yeah. And then we got a resurgence in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, where side scrollers kind of came back in a big way as a nostalgia thing. Like indie are like, hey, look, these are the games we like to make when we were young, which was really cool. But now it's almost like it's gone this weird dip of now people realize, side scrollers is a really easy thing to do. All you have to do is take an old side scroller game, slap a new coat of paint on it, and now all of a sudden it's our game. And if you look at, with Bio Interstellar Arc or Bark, because that is, creative, all it is a side-scrolling shmup with dog spaceships. And it's cute, don't get me wrong, but as soon as the aesthetic wears off, that's all it is. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
That's all it is. So the next big thing that I'm sure a lot of people were scratching their heads about, I know, because I was at work today when everything was happening, so I was kind of in my, in the free moments that I had, was kind of looking things up as they were happening. And I started hearing this blabber about Take-Two. Excuse me. So hearing this, and there was a bit of I don't know if they didn't get the memo. They realized they were at E3. Maybe they thought they were at some other conference. But instead of talking about any games, and obviously Take-Two does, like Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, they instead decided to host a panel talking about race and representation in gaming.
Yep.
And right off the bat, and I'm sure all three of us agree, these are important topics.
Yes.
It's important to talk about these things and discuss and get ideas, share your viewpoints. There's definitely places and times and platforms for it. I don't know if an E3 presentation is any of those things.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. Like, I'm not against it at all. I'm happy that they did it.
Sure.
I think it's great. The problem is, I thought this was I thought that E3 is supposed to be as an industry and also like an investor thing.
It is.
Yeah. I applaud Take-Two for having the balls to do this, unlike Ubisoft and EA.
No.
Like
100%.
This actually makes me want to support them at all costs. Like, I have a lot more respect for Take-Two for this. But man, I really wanted some news. I really wanted some. Give us something.
Tell us about fucking, Grand Theft Auto 6 or something. Jesus.
So that's the other thing is I guess we were talking about it before we recorded and stuff, of course. And now I started thinking, I'm like, see, the thing is even if they did announce things, I feel like it would have devalued the conversation. So I think it actually stands in a little bit more. It's better that they did do this. I just wish that maybe with Warner Brothers or somebody else, or maybe they did something else to maybe they'll go big on the Sony thing, and they were basically like, you know what, Ubisoft and Riot and a bunch of other these studios are getting away with way too much. Instead of doing this stuff, we're going to be talking about something that's way more important. And that's what I'm saying. Now, because I was kind of complaining before. I was like, I really want to know more about games. But now the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, you know what? You had the balls to do it and to actually have the conversation where shit is constantly happening in the video game industry. And now I think I've turned around, and now I'm actually happy that they did, because I watched the whole thing. I listened to the entire thing, and it was fantastic. They did a great job. Especially, it's a good step for a video game. So as much as I do want to bitch about it, now looking at it, I'm like, I think they have something else up their sleeve. They might be doing their own thing, or we might actually get some information, maybe in a better light. Because E3 this year, especially being today on Monday when nothing else happened, they probably were like, well, we're on a shit day. This stuff needs to be said anyways. Nobody else is gonna have, the cojones to do it. And so I'm like, yeah. I'm actually the more and more I think about it, the more I'm happier that they actually said something. Because diversity is really important, and the shit that's happening in video game industry is unforgivable, and somebody needs to stop. Discrimination and horrible pay, horrible treatment, and sexism and everything, so like that. So it's like, man, this went a little dark. Sorry guys, but yeah, it's just kind of like, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, you know what? Fuck yeah, thank you, Take-Two. Thank you for saying something.
You could have brought something to the table, but you do bring up a really good point that maybe they're keeping something in their back pocket for a console show or another developer's show, something like that, and they just wanted to use this time to make that talk. Again, good move on them. I just think odd spot to do it. We've got a little bit more to talk about now. I'm not a super tech guy, in full acknowledgement that my computer needs an upgrade. It hasn't had one in 5 years, and I'll probably never do it, which I'm sure will present a problem at one point. But I know some of y'all like tech, and we did get some Razer announcements. So Tyler, why don't you take that one?
I mean, we got 3 Razer announcements. It was really short, way shorter than I thought it would be. I thought they would have a lot more, especially with accessories, especially with how things are going, with how many people are getting into streaming and getting into all this stuff now that we were inside for so long, that people are gonna now want to incorporate that into their life for a longer time. And apparently they just didn't. So they did announce 3 things, and one of them is really cool. It's not gonna be the one you think it is. I'll start off with the Epic 14-inch, really thin THX speaker laptop. It looks awesome. That's $17.99. Looks pretty cool. I don't know much about their laptops, in all honesty. If you do care about that stuff, I would follow Dave 2D, that channel. He is awesome, and he breaks down all these laptops. But it was really exciting. They were really excited because they talked about it for like 14 minutes out of the 26-minute panel. The second thing was their monitor, the Raptor monitors, the 27-inch ones where you can have 3. It even has it has the mounts. They finally have VESA patterns on it. They're THX as well, certified. And the cable management is kind of the showstopper with the monitors. The monitors are sick. However, that price for $799, it's just not worth it for me. And a mount is $100. Screw that mess. Absolutely not, Razer. It's cool. It's interesting, but I think I have to stay with my Acer. I don't know. I don't know if I like Razer enough or their monitors enough, especially to fork out $800 for a monitor. Like, I think that's just a little excessive, and I don't game that much.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Yeah,
like I could buy a new gaming console or a monitor.
Yep. Again, I'm sure they're fine, but is it really that worth it, especially when video cards are so expensive and so rare right now? And the third thing is that thing I'm actually interested in all honesty. They kind of sold me on it a little bit. It just depends on the price. The Project Hazel, the mask, the RGB masks, because I am definitely one of those people who I want masks to be a continuous thing. I think they're good. If you're sick, wear a mask. And that's just for the future. There's no reason to go out and be
Works
sick.
for a lot of East Asian countries.
Exactly. And so I think that and the mask looks cool, and I kind of want it. It's RGB. It's cool. It's it's interesting, and it's safe. The thing that I like most about it is it's anti-fog. And so with myself, I wear glasses, and so I'm not wearing them right now, but I do wear glasses, and fog has been horrible, and so anything that would stop that and for me to wear a mask, that's good. And that's all I have to say. I think Razer did okay. I'm just shocked they didn't have a lot of a new webcam or other accessories or even a cable. I'm surprised they also didn't even do a desk to compete with Secret Lab, the Secret Lab desk. So, but hey, maybe that's coming soon. Secret Lab thing was kind of came out of nowhere. So.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not a huge techie. Like I said, I didn't understand most of the things you were saying about the monitor or the laptop. But no, the masks are actually really cool. Like I said, masks have been a thing in East Asian countries, especially Japan and China, for a long time now. If you're sick, you wear a mask because it's just polite. If you're going to sneeze or cough, instead of blowing that shit in the air, you blow it onto a mask. Like with anything, it's going to catch some of it, and hopefully the people around you aren't going to catch whatever you have because you're doing your part to help out. And
exactly.
Making them almost like a cool tech accessory is cool. If you're going to wear a mask, look good doing it.
It's cyberpunky.
Yeah. I dig it.
All right, that's it for me. You know, it was a lull day, but we had a good discussion. It got us to talk, and so
it was almost like reverse Star Trek rules, where the first one was bad, the second was good. Now the third one is bad. The fourth one's probably gonna be really good.
I don't think this was bad. I'm just
not
shocked
as good
at,
as the
how
others.
lackluster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say it was lackluster, but it was good. Like, you know, like I still like the Take Two thing. I just think I like that leap at least. So at least it got us to talk about it for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know, Falco. What do you think? Like, any thoughts on the Razer tech?
I can't wait for my $800 monitor and my GTX 380 Ti renders my Minecraft at 300 frames per second.
Oh my god! Damn,
it's cool stuff, but it's like, dude, I don't want to spend more than $200 on a regular monitor, nonetheless a TV. So it's like,
you know where I go to shop for monitors? My local pawn shop.
Wow.
So. It's cool tech and all that, and I will be so happy to have it in 5 years when it's like, a third of the price.
It's like, look, I dropped $200 on my new monitor. You know what it can't do that my old monitor that I got for free from someone's garage can do?
What?
Play sound.
Oh, great.
Have speakers.
I don't like
you
monitors.
You could say that I'm the idiot because I bought a $200 monitor with no speakers. But come on,
I don't really like monitors with speakers either. But the fact that it's like an option.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, let us know what you think about the day. What do you think? Are we wrong? Who's right? Who's the most right? We have to know this right now. Just kidding. Our friendship is dwindling on what you, the audience, think. I'm kidding.
My personal worth is based on your opinion of my opinions.
But yeah. Alrighty. Falco, where can they find more of you?
You can find me on Twitch at Captain Falco ZC. You can also find us on YouTube at ZombieCore, along with Instagram and Facebook, also at ZombieCore.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right, and you can find GamerKulture content over on GamerKulture.com, where we have a huge backlog of videos and articles for you to binge on. You can also find GamerKulture all over social media. That is Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That is GamerKulture, one word, culture with a K.
Absolutely. And I'm Tyler from The Grand Geek Gathering, thegrandgeekgathering.com. I mean, so are you guys as well, but you know what I mean. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the stuff. Also, we have our own Discord. Subscribe and like to this video. It would really help us out if you subscribe and liked, because I'm having a lot of fun editing and doing these videos. And we'll be back tomorrow talking about Nintendo and Bandai Namco. It's going to be two heavy hitters, so look out for that. Have a wonderful week. Wear a mask, stay cultured, and GGG.